everybody? I'm Jake Atkins with Feast and Flight. Thanks for joining us for another episode. I'm very excited today. My guest is the head strength coach for Kansas University basketball and used to be the head strength coach for the Sacramento Kings, Dr. Ramsey Nijem.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on the show. We got started with a little mocktail here. This is the Nick special. So cheers.
Cheers.
Let's give that a sip.
Great job, Nick.
That's really good. You did a good job. So welcome to the show. You have such an amazing story. You're the youngest strength coach in NBA history, which is unbelievable. And now you're the strength coach for Kansas basketball. What has that journey been like? What got you started in strength and conditioning, and how'd that get to you to where you're at today?
Yeah, well, I'm the classic example of a basketball player who wasn't good enough to play at the highest levels and never get paid. And so for me, at a relatively young age of 19 years old, I decided, man, if you're not going to get paid to play, can you get paid and have a career in the game and maybe help players, reach their full potential? So that kind of started the journey for me, and met some great people along the way, had some great experience. Didn't piss too many people off along the way, which is typically pretty good and are pretty helpful. And met some people that took some chances on me, and ended up as the assistant strength coach for Sacramento Kings when I was 23. 2 years later, the gentleman who hired me and a mentor of mine and friend left to take on a role with the Chicago Bulls where he was previously at, and they promoted me at 25. And certainly they could have posted that job and hundreds of applicants would have wanted it, but they took a chance on me, and felt like I didn't let them down, at least over those 3 years. And then the University of Kansas called, and that felt like an opportunity to take another chance, right, and bet on myself again and have a different, unique experience. And so been there 2 years now, and yeah, it's certainly been a fun ride, but something I don't take for granted.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how has the transition been from NBA strength and conditioning to college strength and conditioning?
Yeah, I get that question a lot, and it's one I love sharing because it's, a lot of times people think the NBA may be the pinnacle of sport, or the pinnacle of strength and conditioning, or professional sports in general. And while there is some merit to some of those sentiments, what I found passion in was helping our young guys, right? So although I've been fortunate to work with some amazing veterans, all-stars, DeMarcus Cousins, NBA champion Rajon Rondo, a Rudy Gay, a Zach Randolph, a Vince Carter, the list goes on, right? But for every one of those, teammates that we've had on and players I've been fortunate to work with, there was a younger guy that really, I think, fueled my cup and allowed me to really just bring passion to the game and to the strength and conditioning. And so, those guys that come to mind are the De'Aaron Foxes, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, Harry Giles. And so for me, it was, an opportunity to kind of sit back and reflect and say, man, if you really enjoy creating impact and helping these young guys, well, the University of Kansas is a great spot because now you can do it across the board, 15 players, right? And so for me, it just felt like the right next chapter. I became the head strength coach at 25, and I kind of felt like I checked that box, right? It was the dream job, but I felt like I kind of checked the box. And so, I'm a guy that just constantly wants to grow and constantly wants to challenge myself, and the University of Kansas felt like that right next chapter for me.
Right. And how was the transition from California to the state of Kansas? Got to be a little different back in Kansas?
Absolutely, yeah, certainly a little bit different. Born and raised in California in the Bay Area, never moved outside of California. Obviously traveled outside of California while with the Kings for 5 years. You travel to every city and even some international trips. But never into Kansas because Kansas doesn't have an NBA team. And so, for me, one of my first calls was a former assistant of ours and a friend of mine had graduated from the University of Kansas. And so, I call him and say, hey, man, you know me. I'm a California kid. Right. And, he says, hey, man, Lawrence, Kansas, where the university is at, Lawrence, Kansas is not what you think, man. It's a great place. You got to get on campus for the interview. And so that was kind of the start of that process of really thinking of myself, can I be here? And then you get there, for those who may not know, the University of Kansas is where the game of basketball is founded, right? And so, my office is on Naismith Drive. We play in a historic building. We literally have the original rules of basketball on campus.
Wow.
And in our DeBrew Center where our players eat. And so there's so much rich history from basketball there that as a basketball fanatic, it's like, man, this is such a cool opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So growing up being a basketball fan, did you have a favorite team?
Yeah, of course. Growing up in the Bay Area, certainly, the Golden State Warriors come to mind, and then obviously that kind of early 2000 era with Peja and Vlade and Bobby Jackson and Doug Christie and those guys. Enjoyed watching those battles and what they were able to do. So it was always, the Kings probably early in my career, and then obviously through high school was the We Believe era of Golden State, and so that was amazing to watch. And so, always just enjoyed both those teams, and for me to have the opportunity to work for one of those was really a fun opportunity, and certainly Sacramento's become a home because of those experiences, right? So bought my first house here, right? So it's just all those little things that opportunity have provided me, it's just been amazing. But yeah, growing up, it was always Sacramento Kings or Golden State Warriors.
Right.
And so I couldn't have, planned it any better.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So being a fan in your younger years of the team and then eventually going to work for the team, was there any kind of like vision you had in your head when you were a little kid of like, okay, well, this is probably what it'll be like, and then once you start working in it, you're like, okay, well, this surprised me, or was it kind of what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, early on, I didn't know strength and conditioning was even a career opportunity, right? But certainly, around that time of 19, when I decided, hey, I want to be an NBA strength coach, you create those visions of like what this might feel like and be like. And, so one of the bigger questions I get often is like, how is it dealing with the egos of NBA players? And, I thought that might be challenging. But honestly, that's the easiest part of the job is dealing with the players. They're great. I always tell people they're just like your friends. They just happen to be really good at basketball and get paid a good amount to do it. But there's certainly different unique challenges that come with those roles, and some are unexpected. And everything that you might think comes with a regular job, right? There's politics, and there's relationships you have to develop, and people that you may not be the fondest of, and you got to figure out how to work with them. And so all of those unique challenges are there, but then there's also all of the perks, right? It's like you get a charter and travel across the country. I always looked at it anytime I felt like I had a quote-unquote bad day at work. The perspective I kept is, man, I'm getting paid to sit courtside and watch NBA games. Like, this is amazing. So as long as you keep that perspective, man, it really is a fun opportunity. And, again, and I don't take, a day of that for granted because it was such an amazing time.
Yeah. That's great. So your experience that you've had, I mean, you got your doctorate, you're literally a doctor, Dr. Ramsey Nijem. And it was funny because did you know that there's an MMA fighter named Ramsey Nijem? I'm sure you do. You have the same name. And
yeah, I certainly do. And people, it's funny because I would call down at hotels, and sometimes they'd say, hey, are you the MMA fighter? And I'm like, no, that guy would surely kick my butt. But I think he used to train like in Concord or something, pretty close to here. Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of like that old, I think it was like Visa or MasterCard commercial where they saw Michael Jordan on the, the wait list or anything like that. Like, Michael Jordan? And then like this kind of dorky white guy would show up and they're like, oh, like they're disappointed. Everyone's disappointed to see him. He's just like, yeah.
Yeah, that every time they asked, I'm like, that's definitely not me, man. So, but what's funny is we follow each other. Well, at least we used to. We used to follow each other on Instagram. I don't know if he still follows me, but it was always weird to kind of see like Ramsey Nijem liked your photo, and it's like, wow, that's crazy. So it's I'm familiar with him.
Gotcha, that's funny. Yeah, I was gonna introduce you to the show and say his like win-loss record. Be like, yeah, oh, that's not me. No. Oh, all right, well.
Whatever his win-loss record is, it's certainly better than mine. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, mine too. So you created a program with the knowledge that you've accumulated called APC. What's APC and what inspired you to start that?
Yeah, APC is the Applied Performance Coach. It's a continuing education course and ultimately a certification and mentorship program that I developed. And it kind of stemmed from a few different places. So, if you go back a few years now, I hosted a couple strength and conditioning symposiums at the Golden One Center. And both of those I thought were a great success. And we had, 100 strength and conditioning coaches come from literally all over the country to fly in. And that was an event that I hosted. So the first year I did speak, the second year I didn't speak, but hosted and really found a passion for like building community, for I think really providing an opportunity, right? And so, if you go all the way back to like 2012, I remember sending out letters to every NBA strength and conditioning coach. So this was before social media was big. Email obviously was available then, but a letter felt more sincere. So I sent the letter out to every NBA strength coach, and I remember a few of them got back to me, and I thought that was just amazing. I still remember who those gentlemen were. It's amazing for me to be able to like text those people now.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got a voicemail from an NBA strength coach. I called my mom after, like, Mom, I'm going to the league, and she's like, you got a job offer? And I'm like, no, but I got a voicemail.
Yeah.
So I just remember how that felt. And so, paying it forward has always been something that's been a passion of mine, because I remember that moment.
Yeah.
Led to the symposium. Always wanted to do that. Finally had the opportunity to do that when we opened Golden One. That was great. So you come, all the way to the pandemic, year 3, and it's kind of like, well, we can't do this now. The pandemic's here.
Right.
I didn't want to just do an online things. I felt like there was a lot of those available, and building community was really the passion part of that. And so just kind of, put the marker to the whiteboard and started to map out what a real course could feel like and be, and something that I thought was missing, right? The biggest thing with that was, don't just put something out there, right? If you're going to do it the right way, and make sure that it's something that's missing and something that will be extremely valuable. And, I always want to try to over-deliver on any, cost of admission to something I bring. And so, feel like we've been able to do that now. We're in the second cohort. It's a cohort model where, coaches basically sign up and they go through this course together. And it's every part of the science of what we do, the practical application of what we do, learning through the experiences that, I've kind of dealt with, being able to answer questions for people. And then there's a certifying exam at the end of it that, coaches have to pass. So, it's been a super fun passion project. And now that we're toward the end of our second cohort, but we're already seeing coaches get different job offers and different opportunities. And, whether it's, hey, coach, I appreciate you recommending me for this. I got that job. Or, hey, coach, I got this opportunity and they promoted me, and I'm, extremely confident now based on that course. So it's just been really fun, like kind of rewarding moments like that now that we've kind of got a few coaches going.
I actually have a really good friend that went through the program.
Oh, wow.
And he was the head strength coach at FPU, and then he just got a job down in Irvine at another school, which is kind of a little bit, another rank. So
yeah, nice.
It was cool when you posted a picture of all the coaches and everything, and I was like, hey,
nice.
It's Daddy.
I know that guy.
But and he's, I talked to him quite a bit, and he's always going on about how great that program was, and for him personally, and
nice.
Going through it and how much it's helped him as a strength coach, not just in the practice of everything, but with like relationships with the players and the students and everything. So, that's straight from one of my good friends. There's a review. I'll see if I can have him write it out.
Yeah, type it up. We got to get some marketing material
there you
going.
go. Perfect. So how can people go and learn more about APC if they're interested about learning more?
Yeah, well, the website's just Applied Performance Coach, and it's a relatively high-level performance coach certification. But we have more than strength coaches. We have athletic trainers, physical therapists, and so we're starting to build a really fun community. And but yeah, appliedperformancecoach.com is where it's at. And if you follow me on Instagram or even Twitter, it's linked kind of everywhere. So if you ever look for me, it's probably being linked somewhere.
Gotcha. And what's your Instagram handle?
Instagram is dr.ramsey.nijem.
Perfect. Okay. So you opened up a gym here in Sacramento, True Climb. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a fitness studio in downtown Sacramento. We're at the corner of 8th and J Street, and it's a VersaClimber studio. So we use a VersaClimber, which is kind of this crossbody climber machine that's pretty popular in strength and conditioning, and LeBron James has used it a ton, and so it's got a lot of kind of fame from that. But it's essentially a spin studio model, but instead of spin bikes, we use a VersaClimber, and we have really cool lights that kind of go with the music, and then it's choreography based or rhythm based. So there's kind of like dance moves that you would perform on the climber while working out. So there's different choreography that matches the music and the lights, and it's basically like the club has kind of collided with fitness, and we created this really cool concept. And they're 30-minute fitness classes, so it's super efficient, it's fast, it's fun, it's challenging, but we're already starting to see members get amazing results. So it's been a fun project to kind of put together, and we were due to open right when the pandemic started, so that's been obviously a unique challenge. Right. But as we're kind of hopefully coming out of this thing, then we'll start to build our community and hopefully gain that momentum.
Yeah. 30 minutes. That's a quick workout.
Quick, in
That's
and out,
awesome.
in and out. Sometimes, we get people that come in and say, "Oh, how long is the class?" And we'll say 30 minutes. They say, "That's it." And I said, "Don't worry, that's
Yeah.
all you need." And, a lot of people, like, one of the biggest excuses people give for why they don't take care of their health or their wellness or their fitness is typically time.
Right.
And so what we've done is we've taken out the fluff, and all 30 minutes that you're in there, you'll be working. It's obviously, there's water breaks you can take, and you could take it at your own pace. So, if you're listening, don't feel like this is intimidating, But overall, it's just super effective and efficient. I did a class this morning. I burned, I think, 527 calories in that 30 minutes. Yeah, and so, and it's a natural movement to the body. It's low impact or no impact, so it's safe as well. And so, you leave the gym tired, but you don't leave the gym with joints that hurt, right? Your knees and your ankles and your hips won't hurt. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of times people, as they enter a new fitness regimen, they'll either stop because of injury or they'll stop because they don't see the results.
Yeah.
And so what we've kind of brought is this model that's, super fun, but it's also efficient, effective, and then low impact. So, we got everyone in there literally, we have 60-year-olds that are in there kicking butt, 20-year-olds that kick butt, and everyone in between that are, getting results now.
That's awesome. It's like a workout that anybody can do, no matter what. I mean, you're right about the time schedule. I can't remember. I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I don't have time to do that today, and then turns out I got plenty of time.
Right.
I'm fairly busy. You're fairly busy, but if it's important to you, you'll make the time.
Absolutely.
But 30 minutes, I mean, that's pretty easy to fit into anybody's schedule, and being low impact too. That's huge.
For sure.
As I get older, like I told you today, I pulled my calf yesterday playing basketball. Probably wouldn't have done that on the VersaClimber.
Right.
And so I got to get in there. I got to try it out. It looks like a lot of fun, and it looks. I probably burn a lot of calories too. So, I need to burn some calories, especially we eat some good food.
Amazing
here.
food, amazing food, right? Presentation and all, but it's to me the only cardio that I can do consistently and have a good time. I'm the same way. I love playing basketball.
Yeah.
But you can't play basketball every day, right? After an hour and a half of pickup, you feel it. The body feels it. And a lot of people, when they work out, they spend most of their time either talking to somebody, they're on their phone, and then they wonder why they just spent an hour and a half in the weight room or in the gym and they haven't gotten results. So we've just taken out the fluff. Like, let's come in, let's get some hard work in, but you'll have a good time because it really is like a club environment. I mean, the music's going, the lights change colors. Don't worry, the lights are dim, so nobody's judging you. But it's definitely a fun time.
Perfect, because that's what I look better in dim lighting. That's what everybody says.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Oh yeah. Taking out the fluff. I remember in college I had some buddies that, were on the football team and they're like, yeah, I was in the weight room for 3 hours today. I was like, I saw you in there. You're just you and the other buddies were just talking for like 45 minutes, an hour. And it's like, you can't say you're, say with the time that you're actually working out. Don't just be hanging out in there and then try to impress everybody afterwards.
Right. And we're all guilty of it, right? Like, I'm the same. When I work out in between sets, I check Instagram or I text somebody or I want to read this. And so you come in and you don't have time to pick up your phone. It's whole body, 30 minutes, low impact, get you in and out and on with your day.
Yeah. Well, that's excellent. That sounds like a lot of fun and can fit with really any lifestyle or any it really sounds like there's no restrictions other than if you don't have arms or legs.
Yep, essentially. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty much. So spending so much time in Sacramento, opening up your gym, working with the Kings, what has Sacramento meant to you?
Yeah, good question. It's home. It's still home, and I still have a house in West Sacramento. My mom lives there. Obviously, the studio's in downtown Sacramento, and just have ties to the city. And I love food. I love coffee, and there's obviously a great food and coffee scene. And I'm not as big on beer, but I know that there's a nice beer scene. And so I think Sacramento just is a great city. It's close enough to the Bay Area, a little bit better cost of living. You can get to Tahoe, you can get to Napa, you can get to the city. So there's just so many opportunities. I've really have fallen in love with the city and enjoy it and still, consider it home for sure.
What do you think the Kings are going to do this year?
That's hard. That's tough. Still got some love for some of those players there, obviously, and excited for what they'll be able to hopefully accomplish. But the West is obviously just ridiculous. And these teams, the teams that are planning to contend for playoff positions, they all have, at this point, multiple all-star caliber players. And so, the Kings being young, I think, hopefully, the optimistic side is, watch them develop and win some games and ultimately just make progress from last year. I think after being there for 5 years and feeling the city's excitement for the team, I think that sometimes tempering expectations to just progress is maybe where we want to be. And so as long as you make progress every year, eventually you become, a pretty good team. And for a franchise that historically hasn't been able to do that over the past 15 years, I think if you just see some progress, hopefully that's good enough.
Yeah. I hope so, and maybe we'll have the progress like what the Phoenix Suns had last year, going from being like one of the worst teams to being in the finals.
Right.
We're hoping like a total makeover like they did would be.
But I don't want to ruin anybody's excitement, but I don't know if you'll get that.
I've lowered my expectations quite a bit, unfortunately.
I mean, it's a players' league, it's a talent league.
Yeah.
And ultimately, as much as we love to talk about culture and coaching and those types of things, and they all play a role. You need talent. You need high caliber players. So if you look at a team like the Suns and the way they created a switch so fast as they went and signed, first ballot Hall of Famer Chris Paul, right? And so if you do those things, you can make fast switches.
Right.
And as much as you want to do those things, I think just make a little bit of progress every year. And then eventually, what you do is you show the league we're making progress. And then a player, maybe like a Hall of Famer or an All-Star caliber player, is maybe says, hey, I like what they're doing over there. I'll sign up for that.
Yeah.
So, but maybe not. I don't know if a finals run is coming next year.
I don't think so. So I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
You ready?
I am.
All right. Rapid fire. Kobe or Jordan?
Oh, goodness. Jordan.
That's the right answer.
Yeah. Kobe's a monster in his own right.
For sure. Absolutely. I threw this in here because being experiencing California and Kansas, a little bit different. Winter or summer?
Oh, man. Summer for sure.
Did the Kansas winters scare you?
A little bit. It's not as bad as people think, but it does snow, obviously. And it's not just the snow. It's actually black ice that's actually the hard part. Yeah, like snow is fine. Most cities do great jobs of cleaning that up. But black ice is not much you can do about it. So that's the scary part.
Yeah.
So.
Kansas or California?
Oh, you can get me in trouble, man. I love them both.
Perfect. That's a good answer. Strength or conditioning? Weights or cardio?
That's hard too, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say conditioning.
Okay.
Because fatigue is a mediator to a lot of things, to poor performance and injury. And there's plenty of examples of players who you might think aren't very strong, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, that are in great shape. And so as long as you're in good shape, I think you'll be okay. But obviously the best of both worlds is ideal, and you're strong. And it's not just getting, I know this is rapid fire, I'm kind of ruining the point.
No, you're good.
But it's not just, obviously looking big and bulky, right? You look at Jordan, he didn't look big and bulky, right? The NBA body's lean and typically strong enough to do what you need to do, guard who you need to guard, perform the moves you need to perform offensively, get through the lane, take contact. So, but if I had to pick one, be in the best shape you can be, because then what you can do, and we talk about winning time. When is winning time, right? Who's going to score in the final 2 minutes of the game? Who's going to get a stop, a rebound, a block? You got to be in shape for those moments.
Right. Absolutely. And then moving away from fitness, burgers or tacos?
Oh, I'm going to go with tacos.
Tacos? I'm a taco guy too.
Yeah, I'm going to go tacos.
I like a good burger. We got a great burger here. I really like our burger here, and then I'll do like In-N-Out or something like that. But tacos, I'll get a taco anywhere.
Yeah.
I love tacos.
Yeah, especially some authentic street tacos.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last question. Kansas. How you guys going to do this year?
I'm excited. For sure. We've COVID kind of changed some transfer, both the transfer kind of process, but also gave every player a year back. So. We have some kind of super seniors that are coming back. We've picked up some transfers. We're returning 4 starters, and then we got obviously a deeper bench and some guys that have come off the bench that are ready to contribute. So I'm excited. I think the ultimate goal remains the same as always at Kansas: win our conference, the Big 12, and then chase down a national championship. And failure to do those things is always considered, a failure of the season. So, it's a great environment to be around. Winning is the expectation. Anything less is, considered, not acceptable for the most part. So, I think we'll have a good chance, and if things go right, we should be playing that first week of April.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be rooting for you. I mean,
Thank
I'm not a big. I'll watch like the Final Four, March Madness and all that stuff. I don't really necessarily follow too closely, but I'll be following the Jayhawks and have been since you've been there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wish you nothing but the best. Wish your program nothing but the best because more success for you is great. So,
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you being on the show, man.
Absolutely.
Great
Likewise.
seeing you as always.
Yeah. Thank you.
And looks like we got some more food coming for us. If you want to check out the food that we're eating here, go ahead to our Instagram page, feastandfighttv.com. Please follow Dr. Ramsey Nijem on Instagram as well, and keep up with Kansas Hoops. See what they're doing. Thanks for joining us on Feast and Fight. We'll see you next time.